If you know someone who would be an incredible guest for the show, I'd love to hear about them. Just click the link below. And thank you all so much for being a part of this journey. I really appreciate you guys. So welcome to another fantastic episode of Purpose Driven Progress. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Hicks. And today, you guys, I've really got a great guest for you. I've got Yasmine Jean. Her journey through fashion is nothing short of inspiring. From styling clients at Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue to working in corporate fashion, she's built a career on uplifting both women and men through style. Her work has even caught the attention of celebrities. Megan Fox has worn her jewelry, and now she's diving deeper into the world of sales and entrepreneurship. Beyond fashion, she's also expanding her expertise in HR, proving that strategic thinking is just as important as creativity. So let's dive into her story. So Yasmine, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, Jacob. I'm excited to be here.
So, kind of take us back to the beginning. So, as some like my listeners might know, said I kind of came up selling suits. So, I've kind of dabbled a little bit in the fashion world, but how did you get to the point where you were, dressing people like Megan Fox?
We all go to college, right? And we pick a path. So I went to college and I picked this path to study fashion, to learn more about styling. And obviously I just didn't jump right into it. I started styling myself in probably almost mid to the end of high school. I started to find my style because I feel like when you're 16, 17 years old, you're a teen and you're finding yourself. So I jumped in. I naturally came, 10 years ago. People were wearing materialistic things. I feel like things are more materialized today. So, 10 years ago, I was just looking through my closet and styling myself. So, and obviously people at school and people outside picked that up and, they empowered me to become who I am today. So shout out to those people. But yeah, so, when you pick a path, you go to school and you study it. So I wanted to learn more about fashion, the history of fashion, where it came from, even down to makeup, So I went to more of a creative university in San Francisco, California. That's where I lived for about 4.5, 5 years. And that's where I kind of elevated and my evolution grew from then. So when now I'm done with school, I graduate college, and then I come back to New York, and that's when, I have the skill and the experience. I'm well equipped to go into that, world. That school prepares you for whatever. It doesn't just have to be Neiman Marcus and Saks. It prepares you for Netflix, movie styling, all different types. But obviously I went into personal styling because I like to understand my clients on a personal level. It doesn't have to just be a celebrity. It could be a regular person that just wants to, change their style. And I feel like we live in a world where people go through evolution and want to change and want to feel better and want to feel confident. So that's where everything started for me, is obviously picking that career. And then that's how the doors opened.
I love it. So I gotta ask you, for anybody out there listening that maybe, men or women that maybe they're thinking that I want to, change my style up a little bit, or maybe I want to start buying some nicer, better fitting clothes. Where should they be starting?
It depends on your budget. Like at the end of the day, you could buy clothes anywhere. You could buy clothes at TJ Maxx, or you could buy clothes at Saks Fifth Avenue. It doesn't have to be Saks or Alexander McQueen. It just depends on your budget and who you are as a person. Like when I work with clients, I never want to switch their style to mine. I'll give them a suggestion, but I still want to hear their output on what they're looking for in their style. And I always tell clients or anyone that comes to me for advice in fashion is start with neutral colors. So to answer your question, again, it just depends on what their budget is. So if it's a vice president of Chase Bank, I naturally kind of know where they could afford their clothes, but sometimes people that work at Chase Bank don't want to spend money on clothes. So I would say go on to start with the lower end and start with neutral colors.
Okay. That's great advice. Well, and I'm also really curious. So as I said, I came up in sales selling suits, did that for a long time. And something that I learned, and I'm curious to see if you agree with it or not, is obviously this is more on the men's side. I'm not sure if it's on the women's side too, but is if you're buying, especially like a suit or formal wear for a guy, it matters much more, at least in my opinion, that it fits well and is tailored well to whatever his body shape might be. And, I mean, the price, I mean, obviously you can buy, nicer materials and better lining and all of that kind of stuff too. But I think investing more in the fit is a little bit better over the long term. I mean, do you think fit is a little more important, or what do you kind of think there?
Fit is so important. I
Mm,
believe in fit. I believe in something fitting to your body, then something is not looking right and you're going outside and you're looking a mess. So I
yeah.
100% agree on fit because fit is timeless. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And then on top of that, I also agree on taking your clothes to the dry cleaner. It's like
yes.
I spend so much money at the dry cleaners. It's insane. Obviously, I work in corporate, but also if I want to have my clothes for the next 5 years, whether it's a trench coat, a blazer, or a nice pant, I'll bring it to the dry cleaners. Like I'm wearing my brother's button down or my father. I don't know whose button down I have one right now, but obviously, if I wear it and it looks crazy, I take it to the dry cleaners. I'll continue to take it to the dry cleaners until I'm 50, and it'll still be the same way. So I agree with you. Fit is super important, and making sure you keep if you're spending a lot of money on your clothes, if you're spending $500 on your clothes, bring it to dry cleaners. That's how it lasts. Because I see a
Yes.
lot of people run through clothes within a year, and I think it's ridiculous because you can bring it to the dry cleaner so it could last. If you know you bought something that's quality and it's timeless, bring it to the dry cleaner. And I 150% assure you that your clothes will last.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and especially, I mean, if you're buying like anything over, $50, I mean, you're probably talking about like a decent or a little bit better material, I would think.
Yes,
So, I
material.
mean, if it's a better material, I mean, particularly if we're talking like, like true wool or cashmere or like some of these other things like camel hair, you've got to take care of it, because if you don't take care of it, it'll show up really quick and you ruin probably a $500 garment or whatever.
Exactly.
So I love that. I'm really curious though, because you mentioned, both personal and, the professional side of the fashion world. So because they are just so different,
Mhm.
I mean, what have you learned from, working both like on the personal side and on the professional side? And how do you think those experiences have shaped how you approach business?
Um, I feel like on the personal side, it's more creative.
Mm,
And then on the professional side, you have to be more authentic. Because when you're
mm,
on the professional side, especially corporate fashion, you have to, stand up for yourself. You have to express leadership. And that's what I've learned in building my business, being in fashion. And also, it doesn't have to be just fashion corporate, but corporate period. You have to be some sort of a leader. So
yeah,
what I've learned in the corporate side of how to build a business, what's the requirements, the numbers, um, meeting different people on different levels, maybe higher levels. How can I expand my business? How can I, you know, pull inspiration from them? So for me on the corporate side is super important for me because I am building a business. I'm building a business that eventually will also be corporate because my dream goal is to have 10,000 um, employees working in a warehouse. So
love
there's
it.
going to be the corporate side. So I have to learn both. Sometimes it's hard because I am a creator and that's where I think I'm more at peace. But when you are a founder of it doesn't have to be just fashion. It could be your podcast. It could be anything. You have to understand corporate because corporate falls down in the leadership, technically sacrificing. It also
Yeah,
falls down to sacrifice. So that's what I've learned being in corporate is just leadership and, you know, meeting different people in corporate and learning about them and who they are.
I love that. Well, and I mean, I feel like you're touching on a really important point, both in like the fashion world, but also in the business world, is that you have to be versatile, right? Like you can't be kind of one note. Something that I, again, kind of drawing from my own experience selling suits for as long as I did is, a lot of, especially guys, like we don't necessarily want to have, a lot of guys don't want to have a huge wardrobe of, a dozen suits and 50 shirts and all this, all the pants and everything else. So, I mean, I feel like versatility is really, really key. Particularly if, for like the younger folks, maybe are getting like fresh out of school and they're trying to get into that corporate life. I feel like versatility allows your dollar to go much farther because you don't have to buy, like I said, a dozen of whatever the thing is. Are there certain garments for either women or men that you feel like is more versatile that allows you to put more fits and more outfits together?
Yes. Blazers.
Mm,
Blazers are like is my favorite thing. That's how I got into fashion, was blazers. I was inspired by blazers. I had in high school, I had like, maybe now I have like over 20 blazers, in like probably 10 in like black, because I have it in different textures.
Yep.